Hi, I thought I would do an update and please forgive how I look. I have been in a class taking a vegan cooking class, basically exercise, learning about health for the past today and tomorrow. And so, anyways, I just pulled my hair up in a bun and called it a day because I figured out they couldn't see me and it didn't matter. But a friend of mine was just live on Instagram, and she said, "You haven't done a video in a while." And I thought, no, I haven't, and I should probably check in. The truth is, I've been so busy with work and projects that I have another kind of project that's taken a lot of attention, and I want to talk about what I have been doing and where we are, because some of you previously had followed me with the financial stuff, personal finance, what we're doing. I'll give you a quick update on that and kind of where I'm thinking about going forward. It looks like I might have some time as we get closer to the holidays to do some more videos, but I would love it if you would tell me what your questions are about personal finance, because I kind of feel like I'm a little stale, like I've said everything I know to say about personal finance. I do invest, but that kind of feels like a dry topic to me. So I've been thinking about doing things about older people not having their financial situation in order and starting over. That's really kind of where my heart is. I mean, I have a heart for all of it, but helping people when they get to that point where they're 40 or 50 or even 60 and they're like, and I've helped people in their 70s, and they're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? That was my cat, sorry. I'm not prepared. So that's really been on my heart. But what has happened lately is over the past 6 weeks, I have been on several podcasts for my work as a yoga therapist. One was on life after someone commits suicide. That's a very depressing topic, but that's what it was on. But also prevention of suicide for Suicide Awareness Month. And then I did one on stress management after miscarriage. That was a podcast I did. I actually I saw that webinar I did on the suicide prevention and helping people, loved ones that were left. And then I had to do an interview for a documentary that I was in that I have not been able to talk about. I can finally talk about it. I'm in a documentary about yoga therapy. I was out in California last year and shot that. I'm only briefly in it for a couple of minutes. I think I'm in it twice, maybe. And that will be coming out soon. I will let you all know more. It's probably going to do the film festival circuit before. Hopefully it will get on Netflix or YouTube or one of those, Hulu, something like that. So I know the documentary filmmaker is trying to do that. And the other thing I did, which was honestly a huge highlight for me. I mean, being in documentaries is a huge highlight, right? But I was asked to speak for a women's financial group from the book called First Save 10 by Sarah Catherine Gutierrez. And I did a review of that book recently, and it was so good, y'all. It was so good. But I was asked to come in as the older lady speaking about, or the older person speaking about starting over. And that was kind of my message of, I got divorced when I was 40. I was raising 4 teenagers. I didn't have a lot of money. I was in debt. When I say didn't have a lot of money, like I was broke. And we've now, 9 years later, we're in a much better place. We have no debt. We have increased our net worth significantly, and kind of how we did that. And I've helped people who don't make a lot of money, and I've helped people who make, a lot of money but don't know how to manage it. And it's not something I do for a living. It's something that I do because I feel passionate about the subject of financial well-being. I think it's very important. We talk about our mental health, we talk about our psychological health, we talk about our physical health, but if you broke, it's all going to go to crap because you can't take care of yourself. And your physical health will suffer and your mental health will suffer, and everything suffers if you don't have enough money. And so that's kind of the direction I would like to go. But to be honest with you, I've kind of hit a wall. I don't know if it's hitting 50 in a couple of weeks. This just kind of made me feel like I don't have much to say. Like, I've done all the things in my career that I want to do. I'm not trying to go out and make more money. I love my job. I love my family. I'm busy spending time with my kids. They're in their 20s and one kid's home. But I do feel very passionate about finances. And so we are still living on about a third of our income. We've actually had a good year. I don't know why. I think maybe it's the housing market with interest rates going down or the fact that we've had a lot of rain, but the roofing business has been swamped and we have done zero advertising. Zero. I haven't even put stuff on Facebook hardly other than thank you for your business. We appreciate your referrals because we've had as much as we can handle, and that's awesome. It's just been hard to get to everybody. So I'm so grateful for that, but it has allowed me to aggressively start to pay our house off. It's also allowed me to help some family members that needed some help. I don't know exactly what we'll make. Last year, or the last couple of years, we've made in the very low six figures, but up to we got married, it was substantially lower. I mean, I was like broke until 40 and then dug my way out of a hole from 40 to 46. So it's only been in the last 3 years that things have picked up with our businesses. We kind of had those balls rolling, those snowballs rolling with our businesses, and they just start to, and that's what happens when you focus on something. And I heard this thing the other day that after about 10 years, that's how, if you get a business going and you stick with it, by about the 10-year mark, it becomes really successful. And I don't know what that study was, but I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like once you get something going and you build and you build and you build and you, maybe it was my friend Rena, it takes like that long to be really good at something. You've heard that 10,000 hours, like you have to do something 10,000 hours to be really good at it or to be considered like an expert. And I don't know if there's any science to anything I'm saying, but I would definitely say that, we have an Airbnb, we have my yoga business, and we have the roofing business, and my husband's a police officer. And we've been kicking those, my friend Rena says kicking the soccer balls. We've been kicking those same soccer balls, except for the Airbnb, which we opened in January, and it has been hugely successful. And that's a circumstantial thing I'll explain in a minute. But I've been kicking the yoga soccer ball for 20 years. I'm in my 20th year as of September 13th. I'm smacking in my 20th year teaching. Before I was teaching professionally, getting paid, I was sharing it with other people. And I've been doing yoga since I was 7 and 13, respectively, practicing with Lilias Falon on TV and going to classes and meditating. So when I was 13, I started meditating. So as a child, I was fortunate to have family members. But I've been very focused on that. And sometimes I keep my focus on that. And that has allowed us to have the financial means to be able to pay some things off. My husband has been a police officer. Though he switched around, he's been in it for over 30 years. We've had the roofing business now going steady. I want to say it's been about, he was already doing it when I met him, but he didn't really have a serious business going on. It was a side gig until maybe about 6 or 7 years ago. And that has just grown on referral. Like the businesses, he's been doing roofing for 40 years. His whole family's in construction. He did it with his dad, so he's got over 40 years experience. He started when he was a teenager. But, I just think it's like when you focus on something, it will grow. And you will get better and better. And you will get more and more referrals. And, so you just have to decide what you want to focus on. And I've just kind of been letting other things go. I guess you would say, like Rena and I did a course, special populations course that we have up. It's through her school. So Yoga for Special Populations. That is, you can get 10 hours or 6 hours of CEUs right now, contact or non-contact for Yoga Alliance. I did that. And I've got a couple of books out. But that's the only soccer ball I'm kicking in the yoga world. I'm going to work every day at the Ornish Reversal Clinic at Celine Hart Group. Anything I do relates back to the fact that I have 2 books and a course out. But the roofing business is our main bread and butter. So I have actually pulled back to spend more time organizing and keeping that, because that is a thing that's going to buy us financial freedom. And so I'm sharing all of this with you to say these are things we need to think about. Like, what are our goals long term? Because I personally at 50 I don't want to build another business. I don't want to start a personal finance business. If I lose my job tomorrow, I may change my mind. But right now, I'm happy with the way things are going. The Airbnb, I'm so grateful that we don't have a payment on the Airbnb, because I notice on the Airbnb forums, so if you're going to go into real estate or you want to start an Airbnb, I noticed that people on the Airbnb forum, VRBO, short-term rental, there are people that are just so frantic about everything, and I don't have to be that way. We built ours for cash. When we sold my house, I made about $30,000 profit, and I turned around and I put that profit into that Airbnb, and then I saved a certain amount for over a 3-year time to be able to close my school, and I used a portion of that money to build the Airbnb. So all the money that's coming back now is just the profit that we are making. So I could have invested it in stocks or mutual funds, if you will, and that would have been the profit. But this has been turning quite the profit, and it's because of COVID. We're on a farm. We're in the middle of nowhere. We have it set up where we only have people every third day, and we stay pretty booked. So I'm part-time. I make that very clear, like we are not full-time. So we put space between people. I pride myself on cleanliness. And because we're out in the country away from it, and people can use the yard and the fire pit and all that, we get a lot of people who come and they just stay here most of the time. They may run into town a little bit, but they spend a lot of time here. We got Superhost status, and we got a lot of 5-star reviews, perfect 5-star reviews. I say that, knock on wood, it can change any day. But I can say no to people if I get a fishy feeling. I got one last night that something was not right with that. They asked to bring 4 people. We're only a 2-person cabin. It's like a tiny house. And they wanted to bring young children, and I love children. I love animals, but if someone got out and got around the horses or something, it would, could be bad, and our insurance doesn't cover it. So I was able to say no, and they turned around and tried to book for one person, same person that just wanted to come with. So I'm able to say no to things, and I'm able to decline things because I don't have to worry about, I don't have to count sugar packets or toilet paper or anything like that. So anyway, where we are is that we are focusing on fully funding our RRAs, which the max at our age is $7,000 a year. I would love to do more than that, but right now my focus is on aggressively paying the house off. If we are able to do like we have this year, we'll have our house paid off at the end of next year, which will mean that we paid our house off in 4 years. We did put a huge down payment on this house. My husband saved the money. We have continued to live on a very modest income. We live on about $50,000 a year. Up until a couple years ago, we were living on about $35,000 a year. 35 to 50,000 is what we live on, and the rest goes into savings, and that's for working 4 jobs. So I think that's pretty reasonable for most people. So that's just kind of, a chat. That's what I've been up to. I've been doing a lot of things. I went completely plant-based this year, and it's been a bit of a transition. At the end of last year, I was going to go to just eating seafood and fish again. And then I decided, no, not that. My doctor told me to give up dairy because I have rheumatoid arthritis and a heart condition, and I finally gave up dairy. After a couple of months of playing with that, I decided I fully gave up meat. That wasn't a huge issue for me. I don't like it anyway. And so I've been fully plant-based, and I've been doing a deep dive into that to learn to cook. And because I love food, I love to cook. I love really good food and making recipes. So a lot of my time and effort has gone into, we have a Facebook page, my friend and I, called Women's Wellness with Rena and Courtney. And I do a lot of video on there with no makeup, looking like I just fell off the turnip wagon, and cooking videos. a lot of it is centered around food and women's wellness. I share a little bit of my story about I have been diagnosed with every autoimmune disease you can have since the age of 29. It is genetic in my family. Some of the endocrine issues I have, a heart issue that I have, and I've been able to make some big changes, and I have lost about 26 pounds, and it's been really good. It's been really, really great, and I'm really happy about it, and I want to share it with people because when I discovered calorie density eating or eating calorie dilute foods and combined with plant-based eating for optimal health, it changed my life. And I can eat a ton of food and make great food and eat the foods I want, like potatoes and sweet potatoes and okra and, lots of fruit. I didn't eat a potato or banana for years. I was so afraid of them. Now I eat them every day. So those are things I've been working on. I've been spending a lot of time with the Women's Wellness Group, organizing speakers. We had our nutritionist from our dietitian from Ornish on there last week. This month we have a YouTuber named Plant Based Storm. She's fantastic. I love her. She's going to come on and talk. We're going to talk about holiday cooking. And then I have a couple of YouTubers in my back pocket that I want to get. Kind of my goal, and I've asked Rena, I would really like to get YouTubers who, because we're not trying to make any money at it. We've said, oh, maybe someday we'll take all our content and put it in a course. But right now, that's not our goal. Our goal is just to share information because we both feel like we found the big secret to weight loss and getting healthy. And why didn't everybody know this? Why didn't everybody tell us? And so we've been sharing it because we've been super excited. But my kind of goal is some of these younger YouTubers that are trying, or not even younger, I don't care if they're younger, that are trying to build a career off of YouTube and they're sharing all this information. If we can get them on to our channel to help you all or to help people who are interested, then that can help grow their channel, and then they can come on our podcast, on our Women's Wellness channel, and that will help spread the word, and that will help them. So it's a win-win. So that's what we're doing. It's kind of like someone said to me the other day, do you tithe? Well, I'll be honest with y'all, I'm not involved in church anymore. I was very involved for many, many years and had some very negative experiences. I was actually an elder in the church and taught Sunday school for years and years to children and adults. Bible study, missions, was on every board, and some things happened, and I'm not mad at the church, and I still love God, and I'm still have a relationship with God and still consider myself, well, I don't really want to label it, but, I consider myself a Christian, quasi other things as well, connected in a spiritual way, I guess you would say. I love Jesus. I love the person Jesus is. I don't like all of his people sometimes that call themselves Christians, that they're not acting very Christianly, if you will. And so anyway, I pulled out of the church, but my doing things like this, my sharing personal finance, my with my friend being able to help other people either financially or with information that empowers other women and men, that is my way of giving back. So yes, I tithe, but not directly to a religious organization anymore. I tithe and give my money in ways that I don't talk about with other people. And my time, because we can tithe with our time as well as with our money. And I had a wonderful pastor that taught me that. So I'm going to cut that little, I don't know what you call these. What do you call these? Rant, riff? I don't know what they're called anymore, but I'm going to cut that short. And if you would like for me to talk about anything, frugality, how to save money, how to start over when you're 40, 50, 60, 70, if you're young and you're getting started, if you're in debt, if you're in a horrible pickle and you don't know how to get out financially, then I'm here for you. If you found me because you're a yoga teacher and you have a yoga therapy question, I'm happy to answer those too. Or you're a yoga student and you have a yoga therapy question. I've been in the yoga world for 20 years as a teacher, yoga therapist, trained teachers. I'm just kind of quiet about it these days. All right, so much love to y'all. Thank you for being here. Please like and subscribe and share if this helps you. Bye bye.